Hi everyone that's in already. Thank you very much for coming. We're just about to get started. So the first thing I'll do is I'm just going to share the screen so you can see what is coming up. So, oh, I've got the old one, sorry. Stop share. There we are. So what we've got coming up today is, first of all, we're going to do an interview with new director Shan Fearon, who, as we'll hear, has done an excellent video which we'll see, and has just signed a great coat. Then after a quick chat and watching his video, we'll go to the Meet the Commissioners session with Facebook and Atlantic Records commissioners. We'll be taking Q&As as we're doing that, so as soon as you like, start asking questions in chat. Alex, who's going to wave and say hi. Hi. Is looking after chat, so she'll be picking questions out as we go. If you think that your question hasn't been noticed, just flag it up and ask it again, and Alex will come back to you. Right, off we go. So, Shan, hello. Do you want to say hi?
Hey, everybody.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming. So, Shan, tell us a bit about you. Tell us when you started directing and about your route to where you are now.
Yeah, sure. So I actually started in the music industry.
Oh, we've got some background in there somewhere. Sorry. Can everyone mute apart from Shan? Thank you. It was you, Adam Young. Anyway, Shan, back to you.
Thanks. Yeah, I started in the music industry just over a decade ago, and the music industry was in a strange place about a decade ago. There was a big DSLR boom and stuff, so I was just working as a content strategist around the music business at the time, but I later transitioned into the advertising industry.
Tell us, who were you content strategist with?
Just working for various labels, from Universal to Island to Sony to Warner to XL, and I transitioned over to the advertising side of stuff a few years ago, and I worked in a few agencies, and in some sort of weird cosmic way I've kind of come back full circle to the music business again, the music marketing side of stuff, working in music video as well as commercials and stuff as well. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. So you go from being a content strategist into a content creator. How did that happen? Did you just start doing bits and pieces and thought, I like this?
I mean, I've always kind of been maybe ghost. I don't want to sound arrogant, but kind of ghost directing a little bit, you know, along the way, and kind of trying to develop my craft over the years. But
does that mean bossy and intrusive?
No comment. But the funny thing now is I'm kind of able to take all of these years of, you know, working across advertising as well, and transfer them over to the music, back to the music business side of stuff now. So I'm bringing a lot of social expertise.
Sorry to interrupt. Could you raise your voice a little bit more, please? It keeps beeping.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm bringing a lot of I'm trying to bring a lot of social expertise with social platforms and stuff like that, because I've been making a lot of social content over the last few years, and just kind of working out things like attention economics and you know, just all of the tricks of the trade that work for Instagram advertising and social media advertising, and then trying to see where we can integrate that into the music content stuff that we're trying to do now.
That's so interesting. Becky and I had a quick chat yesterday about how things work at Facebook, and that, as you know, we're all going to find out that it's slightly different to more conventional filmmaking and commissioning. So you've really got a perfect kind of background for the commissioning of now, haven't you?
I hope so. I hope so. Maybe Becky and Dan can confirm a little bit later. But I'm definitely trying to. I'm working on a few formulas at the moment because I think we're really we're at the beginning of a new era, beginning of a new decade, and I think now is the time to kind of see what we've learned from the last 10 years of social media saturation, especially across the music space. And how we can, I think, create what I like to call smart art, which is, it's the craft and it's the perfect marriage between craft and commerce. I think is what a lot of creatives are trying to kind of work towards and achieve.
Yeah.
So in the age of digital, just trying to work out what that smart art looks and feels like.
Sure. So have you done any kind of filmmaking education at all, or training, or has it all been as you go?
I'm one of those people who wishes they went to film school just to have had the experience, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I didn't come out with the nine grand a semester debt. So I'm part of the DSLR generation. I came up in that boom when the 5Ds were popping, and everybody thought that they'd hit the cinematic jackpot just because we suddenly had shallow depth of field. We just transitioned over from DV cameras and stuff. But I learned the grassroots way of learning, like a lot of directors nowadays.
Can everyone hear okay? Robin, can you hear okay? Not quite. Oh, bring it back up again. Thank you.
Worries.
So tell us about the One ASIN video in Nigeria. How did that come about?
So that was a post-lockdown project. It was one of those where, so last year that was only really my second or third proper music video. I only really started trying to do something in the music video space about a year and a half ago. I did my first proper music video about a year and a half ago, although ironically I pitched on my first music videos about 8 years ago. So it's one of those it's been a long journey to kind of to land my first music video about a year ago. But I did that, and one assumes that off the back of that was UKMVA nominated, and I assumed off the back of that there would be a little bit more traction to work with. But then things happened, the climate changed, as we all know, and that was a bit of a roadblock. So coming out of that, it's one of those, it's what all great stories are made of, right? We have the challenges of COVID. You kind of hit a point of momentum. The COVID thing kind of happened, and I thought, well, as soon as this kind of settles down and the first opportunity that comes along that feels right, I need to take it, and I need to give it, everything that's possible within the parameters of what we're working with the project, because it was quite a streamlined project as well. Yeah. So we did that in the summer. And that's the last piece that I worked on. I've got another one coming out in a couple of weeks as well, project that I'm working on with Great Coat.
Okay, I'll come back to you on that after we've played One ASIN. So sure. I'm just a very big feeling video to pull off. It was a great location you had.
Thank you. It's part of a formula that I'm trying to work on at the moment, storytelling wise, whereby I want to try and look at sort of high concept allegory at the moment. So I'm really interested in, especially in the last sort of 10 years of what I feel like we're in the golden age of horror. That's not a horror piece, by the way, but just the idea that there's a lot of great horror movies that are rooted in social and political, and I love the idea of taking genre and then having that underlying message and subtext. So the One ASIN piece on the surface just kind of, I think it would be easy if to sort of dismiss it as just like it's a rap video, it's got some guns in it, and there's a bit of action, some other whizzy wow stuff happening and some effects, but the actual underlying meaning of the video is it's about a gentleman battling with his own personal demons. So he's in his home, which seems to be a common theme for 2020, and he's sort of battling with these elements that are entering into the space. So yeah, that's sort of the One ASIN. I've got another one coming out in a couple of weeks. Which is
that with the same artist?
No, it's not. It's with a new artist, and it's a sort of a horror inflected piece, which is actually about the right wing fascist regime in Brazil. So that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, oh, well, that's well worth looking for. Brilliant. I'm going to just pull this to a close just for now. You've got quite a lot of comments in chat, Shan, if you'd like to have a look in there. And I can see Savannah has asked about connecting with the artist. I'll have to deal with that in chat for now, because I'm going to come to, I think I'll come to Dan first of all, because Dan, I think, tell us about being a senior video commissioner at Atlantic Records.
First of all, just thanks, Shan, for that video, because that was actually for us, and I think you worked with Nicola on it, didn't you? So
I was going to say, did I make that for you, Dan? That one, cosmically, are we?
Well, for Atlantic, yeah, because he signed to us. Everyone was very happy, so thank you. I didn't want to comment while you were playing it, but yeah.
Nice. Thank you for the opportunity, Dan. Cheers.
No, pleasure. So what am I supposed to be talking about, Carol?
What's your day-to-day job like from a commissioning point of view?
Different every day. I mean, I'm in a really crazy period because everyone's trying to make tons of videos at the moment because they're worried about us being locked down again, because we couldn't make them for 3 months, but well, we could, but not in the same format. So I don't know. I mean, like today I've had a conversation with an artist about her EP project, and then I spoke to a director who she wants to work with. I've been sending out a brief. I've written a brief. I've been watching edits. Delivered a video. I've had numerous Zoom calls with people at work, telling them what I think the video should be for something. I mean, it's very varied. Like last week the week before last, I had 4 shoot days. I mean, there's 2 of us. I run the video at Atlantic, and I've also got someone called Kim Jarrett who's just joined. She's our senior commissioner there. So we kind of split the job between us. I'm not kind of weird about her working on stuff and me. You know, we work together. So, you know, if I'm really slammed and, you know, she hasn't got so much, I'll pass stuff over to her and vice versa, and we talk all the time. And we're also setting up a kind of creative department, which will be exciting when we eventually get back to work, because we haven't actually been to our office since March. So yeah, that will be fun. We want to create content and all that sort of stuff you were talking about at the start, because obviously videos have changed so much. I've been doing this way too long. I think I did my first video in, I don't know, 98 or something, 97, 98. And I did it. In fact, I did all my first videos were all the grime videos from the late 90s and early 90s.
Wow, I didn't know that. Brilliant.
And now I'm doing them all again when I'm an old git. So yeah, and it's quite funny because I go on set, and I was on this set the other day. It was a video with Mist and Tion Wayne, and the director was 19. He's the same age as my daughters. And he was brilliant. And I was like, so excited to be there on a weekend. You know, I was dreading it before. I was thinking, oh, I don't want to do this on my weekend. But it was brilliant. It was such fun to be, you know, and I guess that's why I still do it. Because even after, I don't know, 500 videos or whatever I've done, maybe more, I don't know how many, I've got no idea. It's great when you see someone that young who's that excited and has got, you know, all this, he's got his whole career in front of him, and you know, he's like, and I was sort of talking to him about film references, and he'd never heard of them, obviously, because they're all the films I grew up on, and he was telling me his, and it was just lovely to see it. And you know, the video is great. You know, he's just this kid who's taught himself and just come through, and that's, you know, that's brilliant. I love it when that happens. And you know, I get this working with Sophie Muller, who's been doing this as long as me. So yeah, it's very very varied.
You mentioned earlier on that one of the things you were doing today was you were on the phone to an artist talking about a director she might want to work with for her EP videos. How often are you taking briefs from the artist directly, and how often is it the manager or maybe the marketing team inside Atlantic?
I feel like it's more and more artist led. We're quite, we are quite like that, our label. We want the artists to try and lead creative. Sometimes they don't at all, but I feel like 70-80% of artists now have got a pretty clear idea. I think it's come from everyone generating their own content, and that being able to do all these things, a lot of things yourself. They're a lot more savvy than they were, say, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, this particular artist she's a big artist. She's got a very strong vision, and she said, she basically said, if we don't do it like this, I don't really want to do it. So you kind of have to take that information and then go back to the big dogs at work and say, okay, this is what she wants to do, and it's got to somehow fit into some marketing plan where we need, endless things for Instagram and TikTok and all this stuff, all these tons of things that we have to create around a video. And then also try and keep a core piece that's going to be, live forever and make the song appeal to the right people. And it's quite a confusing world out there, I think, now. I think a lot of the younger generation have got a lot more savvy on this stuff and a lot more open to doing it. The older directors less so. But the expectations are, the list I get sometimes from marketing before a shoot of all the things we've got to try and capture on a video day is just ridiculous. And I just tell them, I give them the finger, because there's only so much you can actually do, isn't there? And, you've got to deliver a really fantastic core video, which is first and foremost, and you're spending a lot of money sometimes. So I can't be worrying. I mean, I end up taking stills on single covers and shit. I've got my camera and I just rock up and do it, and because I know that if I do it, at least I can get it done quickly.
Everyone can concentrate on the main event.
It's just we're kind of restricted with budgets, but then everyone's seems to be able to do things for less money, which is it's great, but I also don't want young directors, production companies, crew to have to work for no money. I think it's wrong, and it doesn't. I grew up in I came from production side. I went to art school and then worked up through being a runner, production, all that sort of stuff. So I know how hard it is to make a living as a crew member, as a freelancer. So I do try and make sure, when directors or producers say we'll put our fee in, I'm like, have to be like that, otherwise you're turning your back on the people who
on the future. Dan, I'm going to cut you off at this point and come to Becky, because Becky, that's quite a nice way to move over to you. I think that thing that Dan's flagging up about commissioning has become such a wider suite of things that are needed now. So I know you've got a different approach to what you do and what you need to do. Can you tell us what have you been doing today with regard to commissioning?
I felt a bit guilty there, Dan, because I'm the one that's like, we need to make all these extra assets for Instagram. That's what
I love Instagram. I've got 4 Instagram accounts.
There you go. Good. So question about like what I do. So there's 2 things really. One is, so I sit across Amir and I work with brands and I consult on what they want to be doing in this space. But the interesting thing, and I really loved, Shan, how you were talking about like smart art and this kind of new formula of creativity. And that's really what I'm focusing on, because working for Facebook, when AR comes out or whenever we get like a new product that kind of breeds a new type of creative expression, we're always trying to see like 9 times out of 10, the people that get it right are not us at Facebook. It's people like you that crack the formula, that know how to express and tell stories. So a lot of the time I'm being very, trying to be proactive around looking at who are the talent out there, who's leading the way, who's doing really cool stuff, and how can we learn and partner with you, and then bring it back to the brands who are very slow and always the last on the list to innovate. But I'd say my job's reactive to what brands want, and then proactive to what I think the next thing is in this field.
So you were explaining before that you're very much led, well, you've just said it now, you're very much led by the new technologies that are coming out and the new capabilities of a platform. So your eye is really caught by directors who are experimenting with that and trying to work out the ways to connect and engage through that.
I love that. I do a lot of research on Instagram. That's probably where I find like recent partners, is because I've found like really cool and weird and wonderful eyes. And what I love is there's people that I think only have careers because of Instagram, because this type of format and this type of content creates engagement. And then I really lean into it, because the hardest thing on Facebook and Instagram is to grab attention. And these are the people that have attention. So the message is to, I kind of sit in between the brand and the creator saying, lean into this and allow that creativity to kind of blossom and take over maybe your more safer idea, because that's what's going to work on our platform.
So, and to clarify that for directors as well, if Becky were to find you doing something exciting with a new feature on Instagram, for instance, she would be coming to you with budget and saying, yeah.
I'll DM people. I don't know what, I mean, there's probably used to be a very traditional way. Sometimes I go the traditional way, but if I find it, I'll just ping you and be like, hey, can we chat?
And you also commission directors, rostered directors from production companies as well, although that's a smaller part of what you do. But when does that happen?
So to be honest, when we work in the music world, because we're exploring a lot with volumetric capture at the moment.
What's that?
So I mean, gosh, I'm the worst one to explain it, but it's basically where so because of COVID, no artist can do it's harder to do performances at the moment. So we're working with 2 artists at the moment to do remote performances, but you don't want to lose the magic. You don't want them just to be 2D. So volumetric capture is where you film someone in the round, if that's the right thing, with all the different cameras. You'll have probably seen it in behind the scenes. So you can get this 3D render of the artist to be viewed via AR or VR. And so it's trying to create that really immersive performance, but at home when you can't go to a concert at the moment. And with that, we do commission probably more established directors, because it's such the tech is so crucial, and the way of creating around that is really important.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to start picking up some questions. So I'll pick out 3 names. Get ready. I'll come to you each in turn. So Gary Knox has, well, Gary, I think that one's a bit tiddly. We'll get around to it later. Shona Charlton will come to you. Iso Atril and Adam Young. So when you're going to talk, just unmute yourself. So Shona first of all, and then Iso and Adam, get ready. So Shona, do you want to ask your question?
Oh yeah, hi. I wanted to ask Dan. Hi Dan. How does one get around to getting to direct one of your awesome artist videos? What do I have to do to be noticed?
Are you a director, or are you?
I'm a director. Yes, I'm a current shiny pick. Thank you, Caroline.
Well, this is what I was. There's my problem is I'm too bloody busy to find new people often, and I use Instagram to find directors, and I DM them. That's definitely one of the new routes. So I have an Instagram account. If you want to reach out to me, I'll reply. Give me a day or two, because I've got a me one, and I've got a car one, because I'm a car nut. So maybe the one that's not car, but it's just my name. It's easy to find. Reach out to me, and let's chat and send me your work. And we've got videos of all different sizes and stuff. And if
absolutely.
If you want to picture, there's stuff that you like, we can you can pitch on stuff, you know, like other people.
Cool.
I'm very open to anyone writing, as long as they can deliver what they say. And, you know, there's no reason why you can't be directing something, or anyone else who's more, it's the best idea, the best concept for me, always.
I love that. I love your cool attitude. I'm definitely going to be hitting you up. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks very much. ISO, I'm really sorry, I'm going to bump you unless you come back in with a different question, because your question's a bit too similar to Shona's. So think of another question and I'll come back to you. So Adam Young, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
Evening, guys. So yeah, Dan, it's, yes, you kind of touched upon it, but I was just sort of curious because you know, you said you sort of got into Atlantic Records, or like pre-internet era. I was just kind of curious about how you got into all that, really. I mean, it's
I was a producer for years. Like, I produced music videos for like 8 years, and Mike O'Keefe, who runs Sony Video, someone who worked for him was poorly, and he said, can you come and cover her for a few months? I knew him from producing videos for him, so I just went in there, and I found it was much more me than just producing, because I'm quite creative, and producing is much more, well, it's much less creative. It can be creative, but it's commissioning's kind of similar to producing, but you're kind of looking after an artist. Artists are quite similar to directors, so that was kind of an easy transition. And then being involved with the creative from the start is what I actually really love, and then putting it all together and making it, you know, I like working closely with directors on video.
Fantastic.
I'm not a meddler, but you know, I know what I'm doing, so I'm very happy to share information and help people. But I think, yeah, it was a kind of natural progression. I've only been a commissioner since 2006, so it's quite a long time.
It is now 14 years.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's just kind of cool that you saying that. It sort of shows that you probably have a more of a, you know, a creative wavelength to sort of connect with the directors and sort of have a bit of a back and forth on terms of like ideas and riffing on concepts and so on. So it's quite nice to sort of know that that's on the other end of a commission, really.
Yeah, I mean, I try on my briefs, I always have put my number and name and call me, talk about your idea. You wouldn't believe it though, maybe one person calls, but the ones who call always seem to be up the front of, because you know, you can't put much in a full brief. It's pretty difficult to encapsulate what you want, but people just don't call. So, you know, I don't know.
Okay, thank you very much, Adam. I'm just going to cut you off because there's lots of questions in here. So next two are Gary Knox and Gabriel Shalom. So Gary, do you want to unmute and ask your question? Which I don't understand, but you can explain it, Gary Knox. Okay, well, we'll come back to you, Gary, in a little bit. So Gabriel, do you want to ask your question?
Hi, thanks so much. Yeah, I was just wondering, in terms of, you know, I've seen some new stuff on Amazon where they have this ability to kind of shop the stuff that's in the frame, like it's this show called Cut and Run, or no, what's it called? Making the Cut. It's this like really lousy reality TV show, and you can buy the clothes that the designers make on the show on Amazon. And I was thinking, you know, is there anybody in this space that can contend with that from a business model perspective? And I feel like Facebook's one of the only players that can do it. So I was just curious, is Facebook considering any scripted originals to sort of actualize that kind of e-commerce potential?
Yeah, amazing question. And I watched that show and I agree, it was a bit janky, like the way they did it. But yeah, shopping and content is a massive focus for us. And we're really trying to work it out, because the issue we have is when we release these products, it turns into QVC. Like that's what brands do, right? But it's, how do you make it entertaining and how do you make it value for the people that are watching? But then you have a commerce thing on the side. So we're trying to crack it. So we've got some new products, particularly on Instagram, and being able to shop directly from Alive, for example. But then again, it's really going to be the issue I have with all these things is who's going to lead the way and who's going to be able to do it in an entertainment format. And that is my feedback to every brand that tries to jump onto it, because you might not like making the cut, maybe it feels a bit too forced. So what is the concept and the idea? And that's always the hardest part, but the technology is coming. Come up with a good idea and show brands how to do it.
Can I introduce you to my manager?
Yeah, it's not QVC. That's what we just have to tell the world.
Sounds good.
So that's great, and that's a really good message for everybody to be working on interesting ways, like Gabriel had picked up there, interesting ways to do that. I've had a private message from Gary, who has a small person with him, so he can't come on camera right now. So I'm going to ask his question, which I don't understand. It's to Becky. Do you use Dimension for that?
Oh, Gary. Yes.
What does it mean?
That's the company for volumetric capture. So it sounds very coded. It's almost like we're spies. But no, it's a company that we're using. I don't know if Gary works for them or knows them, but yes.
Cool. Golden, would you like to ask your question? Okay, maybe we'll come back to Golden in a little bit. So while we're just, everybody just piling with more. Oh, Golden, hi.
Hey, how are you? Hi, everyone. I was just wondering, is there a way for band merchandise to be included in, say, the music video and then have a link to like a little box at the corner that they usually have at the bottom of Instagram or in Facebook that allows the person to like directly jump on, buy the band merchandise and then go back and watch the video? Or is it something where, like, if they're wearing a Gucci jacket, you can go afterwards and roll over it, and then all of a sudden that information about buying it will pop up? Is that something in the future? I don't know who to ask that to.
Dan, you go this time.
Well, I mean, if it's banned, if it's merchandise from the artist, yeah, in more info on YouTube, for example, there'll be a link to like their merch store or something like that. But if it's a designer product or something that they're wearing, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure there's the technology to do it. I know on Instagram it's easy, but on YouTube with a regular video, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can, well, you are kind of allowed to, yeah, but.
You are allowed to, you have to have permission of the brand. So I mean, it's a very technical question, but say, band merchandise is easy because you own that business. So all the payment and all the logistics of it are done. If it's Gucci have to lend you what we call a shopping tag on our platform. So that because they own all of the ecosystem and the process of purchasing. But yeah, that's the future probably.
Sorry, I just wanted to ask attention to that. So would you reach out to like Gucci in the way of the sales department, or would you reach out to someone like yourself who's a liaison between the brands and the artists and the actual fashion brands, or how would it go?
Yeah, I mean, so fashion houses are always looking to innovate and capture younger audiences. That's the hardest thing that they do. They're very protective of their content, but then they realize they do need to be a little bit more forward thinking. So things like music, things like, interestingly, Reels and TikTok, they've been leaning into it, which I never thought high fashion would do. But if you've got a good idea and a clear integration and a clear story, then you can proactively take it to Gucci or whoever. Often or not, they're very closed, these fashion houses, so it's quite hard to get cut through.
Okay, appreciate that.
I don't know for sure, but if you're going to try and go in cold, I think CMOs, Chief Marketing Officers, if you could get their attention somehow, they're probably a good person to go and try for with a brand. Would you agree there, Becky?
Yeah, definitely think about CMO. I mean, if you've got an idea, like, you can ping me about it because we work with these brands. There's nothing wrong with a bit of hustle. The thing that I find with high fashion is usually the people that lead the way are very old school, and they feel like you're being weird, like stop being strange with my brand, with brand guidelines, and they say this to me all the time. So it's like a very kind of slowly catch the monkey kind of vibe.
So would it
Lovely.
help if you had a visual treatment to show and explain how it would lay out and then pin you?
Yeah, I mean, anything for my for Facebook and Instagram, the more visual, the better. Often, we're pitching to people that aren't creative, who are gonna do it. So you can come up with the most beautiful idea and they just don't get it. So I always suggest you put it in situ with even the phone. Sometimes you really need to hold people's hands through it so they can understand.
Appreciate that all.
Thanks, Golden. Susanna. Susanna, would you like to come through with your question?
Hello, everybody. Hello. This is Susanna and Nick. So we are based in London, and Nick is actually professional actor and director as well. And during lockdown, we started to make lots of comedy short films and a couple of music videos, just because we've got the equipment and we work as freelancers in movies. So
we finally had time.
And we finally had time. So we thought we'll just go for it. And increasingly we found that we've increased our following, not just only by our friends and the contacts in the industry, but more and more people, funnily enough, some from India, as far as India. And we just wanted to ask, since you are expert on the following on Instagram and Facebook, and this is really our first time having international audiences, is how can we increase the following? Because we usually direct people from Facebook to our YouTube channel, so we were not sure how this part of the business works.
To increase your following on Instagram specifically?
On Instagram and Facebook, whether to use the accounts as business accounts, because at the moment we have them just as a personal account. So
definitely have a business or creator account. I mean, creator account has most of the business elements anyway. Hashtags are, it seems like it's a really old format, and sometimes kids say it's not cool anymore, but for content discovery, it really does work. I experimented with I always experiment. I chose a really topical one at the weekend around the Norwegian Prime Minister, and I increased my reach by about 80%. So if you get the right types of hashtags, your content discovery goes through the roof. And consistency is for any channel growth, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube. I used back in the day, I worked more on YouTube. But you have to post consistency, and I'm sure you've got a regular format. I know you do. But stories, if you want to do that every day, a story, and then try and post 2 to 3 times a week. And then, when people understand the format, that's when they know to keep coming back to you to find something.
Mm-hmm.
So, Susanna and husband, we're going to be doing a masterclass probably on how to promote yourself. And that will be covering social media and other forms of marketing in COVID times. That's coming up on November the 18th. But I mean, if you can wait that long, but do tune in for that as well.
Great, thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we will definitely put it in the calendar.
You.
Yes, we've already found you, so we've started following you. You will see our name is quite unique, so you
good.
You won't miss it.
I found you. I've got you. We're friends.
Oh, thank you, Becky. Brilliant.
Fantastic. I'm going to come back to Dan now with a question that Susanna has brought up already, and I think Dan, you had mentioned it or alluded to it before. The importance of visuals when people are pitching to you. I mean, Becky's just made a really good point that actually sticking it on a phone is quite a good way to do those initial communications. What are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, so
that's all right. So visuals, when people are pitching and making those initial contact, those initial communications, how important are the visuals relative to the text? And Becky had mentioned that she sometimes advises people to put their visuals into a phone format because that's how a lot of people are going to watch stuff.
Do you mean writing a treatment or trying to get in touch with someone like me to get
both actually? Yeah, both.
Yeah, I mean, I am visual. Yeah, I think you know, if someone does reach out to me on Instagram, for example, I always go and look at their Instagram and have a good old snoop about. So see who they've, you know, that's what we do, isn't it? So 100%, you know, it's all about your content being absolutely the best you can. And like Becky was saying, you've got to post, and you've got to be quite niche as well. I think if you're too wishy-washy, people don't like it. I mean, I've got this car account, which I just started it as a joke, and it just focuses on one particular model. And you know, I've got quite a lot of followers now, and they increase quite rapidly. But if I do it all the time, it just goes up and up and up very quickly. So, but for me, yeah, I want to see good work. I want to see original ideas. I want to see stuff where people understand, you know, when they're writing a treatment, it's all about the artist's market. Boring as it sounds, you can make, you know, the coolest video idea in the world, but if it's for the wrong artist, it will just fall flat on its face. It's about, you know, it's about understanding who you are promoting in a music video. And with treatments, most artists can't be bothered to read a 10-page essay. They just won't bother. You know, I got a video, I've done all Stormzy's videos for the last, since Blinded by Your Grace. I've done all the videos up till now. And when we were doing Vossybot, which ended up being video of the year last year with Henry Schofield, I had a treatment from probably one of the best video directors in the world, and it was 79 pages long. And he just picked it up, looked at it, and just went, oh, and just couldn't even handle it. And it was an amazing treatment. We ended up making the right one, but it's all about what's on the first page. It's all about picking the right picture, the right visual, and the sentence. You know, one sentence is all you need. You need to be able to say exactly what they're going to see in that video. Very first sentence. You get scripts where there's a whole lot of waffle, and then the last page that's the script. That's what you're going to get. No one gets to that point. It's so important. It has to be really, really focused. And especially now with social media, no one can be bothered to wait for things. When you make a video, you have to grab people in the first 10 seconds. Otherwise, it's game over. People switch. They go to the next thing. And Becky can
fantastic.
Up, you know, it's so important.
I'm sure, but I'm going to have to put everyone in breakout rooms now because time is flying by. And so Dan and Becky, I actually don't think I've explained this to you, but I hope you might stay around for the last 10 minutes. Thank you, brilliant. There's a button that I'm about to press. It puts everyone here randomly into a breakout room with each other. And in 10 minutes or so, I'll bring everyone back again. So let me just make sure you're not spread too thinly. Yeah, brilliant. If I won't explain it, I'll just do it. But there is a button that says leave if it's awful. Okay. Here we go.